Hello everyone, this is Linda with Linda's Zoo Plants for you. I'm back, yay. I just want to mention that some of you take the time on almost every one of my videos to let me know how much you love my repotting videos. And so for those of you that do that, this is for you. Sometimes it's just easier when you're trying to get things done to just do them and get it over with. And you know, I was kind of tempted to do that today because I'm having an upswing here with my health, and I really like to take advantage of that. And if you saw my last video, you know why. I'm very behind in a lot of things, and I got a lot of stuff that I want to get done. But you know, in all reality, it doesn't matter. Tomorrow's going to come either way, and my life will be no different than it is today if I get this done or I don't get it done. So it crossed my mind. I started thinking about the people who take the time to write me such wonderful little notes, maybe I could call them, or you know, dropping me a line and letting me know how much you love them really encourages me to do more. So yesterday I had done a video, and this was at the end, and that video was already close to an hour long, so I had to cut it off. And I told you then that I was going to do this last night on my own off camera, but I ended up I was so tired by the time I got done, I ended up just giving it some water so I could get it through until today, and now I'm gonna repot it for you. This is called, oh my goodness, I'm getting a total blank here. Goldfish plant. And there is the goldfish. Sorry about that. Those things happen a lot to me, so just bear with me, please. I've got 2 or 3 on there. And I know that part of the problem is this plant desperately needs to go in a bigger pot. And I'm having a hard time locating bigger pots. I went through all of my stash and I found 2, but I'm going to have to come get somewhere where I can get some more. And I can never find those in the store except the white ones. And that's what I'm going to be using today. And I really don't like the white ones just because I like to see the plant, not the pot. And whenever I notice when I group plants together, if there's a pot that's a brighter color than the others, that's where my eye goes. And I prefer the look of just seeing the green plants. Now that's not to say that I don't like white pots, because there's a lot of YouTubers out there that have got beautiful, beautiful planters. And I in no way mean to disparage you about that, because that's your decor and it's what you like, and I love a lot of them, but it's just not in my house. Our house is kind of cramped and crowded here, and I just feel like if I started doing a lot of brightly colored things, it would just be way too busy. At least for me it would be. So excuse me, one of the looks that I really do like that I wouldn't have necessarily in my house, possibly in my bedroom, but it wouldn't work out in my living room, dining room area, are the white pots. I really do like that look where it's just white and green, and that's really what my bedroom is. It's a very, very light, like a sage or celery green, more a sage, not so yellow, with all white trim and a white bed and white furniture, and I just love that look. And in there, the white pots would be fine. They'd be beautiful. So at some point, maybe I will get to that point, and I will use white pots in there. So then hopefully you'll remember that we had this conversation, even though it's one-sided. All right, enough of my yakking. Okay, so this is the goldfish plant. We're going to repot that, but first I want to repot this one. This is the Moses in the Cradle. It's got quite a few different names. I believe this is from, I think it's Central America, if I'm not mistaken. Not sure. I read about it not that long ago, but my memory's not that great anymore. But you can Google it and find that out in 5 minutes. I got this cutting from, you know who, Suzette from Suzette's Gardens. And this is one of the cuttings that she sent to me in a big box of plants. This plant has just taken off like crazy. And the leaves they're just, it's just gorgeous. They almost feel like plastic. They don't even feel real. And I don't see any flowers on it yet, but my understanding is that it will produce a long purple colored like boat shape with a flower coming out of it, and that's how it got the name, one of the names. So if you want to learn more about that, you can go ahead and Google that, or maybe even go to Summer Rain Oaks. She is really, I consider her an expert in the field. I believe she is a botanist and an entomologist. She's studied entomology and she really knows her stuff. So if you want to learn more about this plant, that's where I would send you, okay? I'm going to start with, and here we go, let's see, with the white pot. And like I said, it takes away from the plant because your eye wants to go to that light color, but it's all I have, so I have to make do. Now you're going to see this plastic, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with these, but these, honestly, I think they're really ugly, but they serve their purpose. And as fast as my plants are growing, and as much as I have to repot things, I've gotten to the point where the pot is just not as important anymore because I can't keep up. I can't get myself to the store. I hate depending on other people. So I have to make do with what I have. But these are, for those of you that aren't familiar, they're just molded plastic, and they hook on the sides of the pot and hold the water, because when you got these pots, you got drainage hole, and this is in there, but it's going to slow down the water, but it's not going to stop it from coming out of there. So that causes me to have to take the plant from where it is, put it in the sink to water it. When I put this on here, I can water it right where it's at. So I had 2 or 3 of these left, and I thought I would utilize them. But we'll put that on later. For now, we're just going to get the plant in the pot. My soil mixture is pretty much the same as always. I have some bark in here, orchid bark, and they're kind of a little bit bigger chunks than what I like. I can't find the ones I used to get that are they're much smaller pieces. These are a little bit big, but they'll do. And the main purpose for that, of course, is to keep it from packing down, getting compact, and having a good drainage, okay? I mean, if you ever plant something and after a while you go back, or you're watering it and it just doesn't seem to be taking up the water, and if you don't have good soil, what happens is it'll pack down if you don't have drainage, and it will make its own, like I call them, little rivers along the pot. It'll seek the easiest, fastest way to go down. Water always seeks its slowest point, which is why we want to keep our gutters clean, because if the water is going down on the side of the house and you have a basement, it's going to seep down into that soil and into your basement block. So having good drainage is key to solving that problem. Otherwise, you'll have, maybe if you put the water in it, and you'll actually see where it comes out the bottom, and it's like it made its own little river there. You can see that in like creeks and ditches along the side of the road. If you ever notice how sometimes you can have a downpour, and the rain, instead of all coming evenly down that hill into that drainage ditch, it makes its own little crevice, and it kind of travels down that lower portion. And that is what happens with these too. And if that happens, and your roots don't happen to be near where that water is going down, that's how you get these dead spots in your plants. And it took me a few years to find that out, but I did find that out many years ago. I couldn't understand why I had some parts of my plant were drying out and dying, and the other parts were healthy. And then a friend of mine at the time who owned a plant store, she pointed that out to me, and so now I don't have that problem anymore. So hopefully that'll help you out too. Okay. All right, let's get this in here. And oh, this is a new kind of hanger on here. And I like these pots. They're well made. They're sturdy, and they got a saucer on the bottom. So they're good for a hanging plant. But it depends on the plant that you have in it, because this strip tray under here not much room. So if you water this plant and you put too much in, it can come out over the sides. I've had that happen. So when you use these kind of pots where this is attached, you want to put a plant in there that you don't have to really soak through, because you will end up with a little miniature flood underneath. And that sometimes happens to me anyway, right? All right. So let's get this in here. I'm going to squeeze the sides of the pot, loosen it up, and as you can see, it's loosening up very quickly. That's because I just put this in here a few weeks ago, and it has doubled in size. So, you know, it's possible that I could have put this in even a bigger pot, but for now, it's going to go in here. And most of you know that I don't like to reuse soil, but because I know there's nothing wrong with this, and it's only been a few weeks, and it was my soil, so there is no good reason to throw that out. Still smells like soil. Okay, I think I got a little bit too much in here. I'm really trying hard to get these down deeper in the pot, because for some reason I always end up putting my plant too high, and then I have to put the dirt too high, and then when I go to water it, it ends up all over the place. I'm sure none of you have that problem, right? Okay. All right. I'll be working on this room hopefully over the next week. I do have a few other things I have to tend to that are very important, but hopefully I'll be able to start getting my house back in order here and give you a tour. I think you guys have seen enough of my messes now. There we go. And I don't know if I told you, but my hubby is laid off. And he's been laid off for a few weeks. And those of you that are married or live with your significant other, I don't have to tell you how that changes your life. And it's not that I don't want him here, and so grateful to have him and have his love and his help and all of that. But it is quite a change in my daily routine. So, I mean, just making a video, I can't make a video if he's got the TV running in the background, which he does every day. So, alright, I think that's pretty good. I think we're a little bit off on this camera here. Okay. What do you think? I'm going to leave it where it is. I might have to add a little bit more after I water it, but we'll see. Okay, and then I'm going to put the, I'll put the stringer on it later. Now this plant too is in that same kind of pot that I just took this out of. And like I said, they're pretty nice, but let's see if I can find the hook. All right. Put a little bit of dirt in this one. This is such a healthy plant. Okay, and once again, I'm squeezing the pot to try to loosen up the roots a little bit. And hopefully it'll come out in one shot. There we go. Oh boy. Did that ever need repotting? Oh my goodness. Look at this, folks. Can you see those roots in there? It don't get any more repotting than that. No wonder this poor thing was drying out. I'm so sorry. Did that to you. My goodness. Now, I know. You know what? I'm not doing nothing. I'm not going to mess with those roots. They're very tight, and I know that not everybody agrees with me on that, but I think the roots are going to find their way out. And I don't want to start messing with them and end up with, you know, a lot of dead spots because I cut off the roots. And this is only, it's only about 1.5 inches bigger all the way around. So it's probably not going to be long before I got to do this again. But like I said, I'm really short on pots. I guess I'm going to have my daughter or granddaughter put out a bulletin for me on their Facebook pages or whatever it is they do now, and see if they can't locate some used hanging pots for me. I know a lot of people just throw these away when they get their plants home, so maybe someone would be willing to save and donate them. Yesterday we had such a beautiful day. The sky was so blue and the sun was shining and It was on the cool side, but it was such a pleasant day. And today we got cloudy and rain. Now, we need rain too. The plants need rain, the earth needs rain, the animals need rain, and we need rain to replenish our water. They were talking thunderstorms, and I got really excited because I absolutely love thunderstorms. I get very excited about it. So does my granddaughter. I probably have mentioned that more than once, but it's one of the highlights for me. I'm talking about the real thunder boomers where the whole sky lights up with lightning for 20 minutes to a half an hour as the storm's going through, and the thunder makes the earth rumble underneath you. And I don't know, there's just something really invigorating about that. And I know that there may be some of you that are watching that have been through storms that did damage, and I'm sorry if that's the case for you. I have been through that myself and several of my friends, and it's not a fun thing to go through, but it's never discouraged me or made me not like the storms. Just a little more cautious about them now. I don't stand out on the porch when when we have cloud to ground lightning like I used to. I actually got struck by lightning one time, and it was a very odd experience. So I'm a little wary about that, but I still do like lightning and thunder, pouring rain. Alright, well that's the other one. There's my goldfish. And we're going to put one of these underneath here, and I'm going to hook it onto the top of the pot, and that's going to keep the water from pouring out on the floor. So that'll be that. Now, I have 2 more plants that I'm going to repot, but they're going back in their same pot. Well, one's going in bigger pot. If you watched my previous videos, you will know that I had a problem with some ants. And it is the strangest thing. I have never had ants in my plants, or my pants for that matter. Well, my mom used to say I had ants in my pants when I was little, because I could never sit still. I was always doing something. So she says, you got ants in your pants. Yeah. She might have been right. But I've never had ants in the house. So this was really, it kind of creeped me out, to be honest with you. And I'm not creeped out by ants normally, but I didn't understand where they came from. And they're tiny. And what was happening, I had these on the counter. I don't know, kind of like this. I think this leaf was down more. I was making a recording of these plants when they were in my living room, and I noticed that an ant was crawling across here, and I flipped it off, and I squished it. And I thought, well, that was odd, an odd thing to have that ant in here. Well, I continued to do my video, and a little while later, when I was editing it, and I was sitting at my desk at my computer with my big screen so I could see everything much better than through the camera lens, I had an actual little army of ants just making a freeway out of these 2 leaves. And seriously, I mean, they were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I don't know how many were in there. Well, that really got my attention, so I stopped my computer and I came out here, and sure enough, there were more ants. So I put them in that tub I just took them out of and set it on my breadboard, and I sprayed the heck out of it with my rubbing alcohol and water mixture. It's about half and half. And I let that sit on there for a little while, and I sprayed the dirt. And a few minutes later, I looked in that Tupperware, and there were 3, 4 more crawling around. So I sprayed the ants, and that killed them. Well, I thought I had them all until I came back a little while later, and there was 1 or 2 more stragglers. And then I saw one crawling up on my windowsill where I have other plants, and that really got my attention, because I don't know what these ants are. I don't know where they came from. I don't know what they're after, but I'm sure they're up to no good. So I sprayed them again, and I left them sit in the Tupperware overnight, and I did not see any at all today. So I'm hoping I got the problem solved. I guess further inspection will give me the answer to that when I go back in the living room and check those plants. But my husband did go and get me some ant killer and ant bait, so I'll be using that probably if I, well, not probably, I will if I see another ant. But yeah, it was just the strangest, funniest thing. So I'm not needing to, this can stay in the pot that it's in. But I want to change out the dirt because I don't know what's in there. I don't know if there's eggs or whatever, ant eggs in there. I don't know. And this one I want to put in a bigger pot because this is growing like crazy. This is my Prince of Orange. I always want to call it the Red Emerald because it kind of resembles that, but it isn't. It's the Prince of Orange. So I'm going to put this inside this. And I know this is a little bit big for it, but like I keep saying, I gotta do with what I have, make do with what I have. Now this soil is not, we're not keeping this. This is going in my dump bucket, and you all know that's what this is for. So, all right, so we're gonna take this out of here. Get this down here. Getting to be that time again. I gotta get dinner going. You know, I'm not a big meat eater, and I really don't care for pork, but my husband loves pork chops. So my sister was telling me about that shake and bake. And I'm not one to buy boxed anything, so I know it's been around probably since I was a kid. I don't know. It's been around many, many years. But I've never tried it. But she said to try it, and I did. And, you know, that made that pork chop taste much better. I could get it down. I still only eat about 4 or 5 bites of it, but at least I could eat it. To me, I don't know why, but whenever I cook pork, pretty much any kind of meat, it smells. To me, it stinks. I just, ugh. And it's not because I'm a vegan or a vegetarian. It's just over the years, the meat has gotten such a horrible smell to it when I'm cooking it, I don't want to eat it. But when I use that shake and bake, it's the original, I think it's called the original or traditional for the pork. And all you do is pour it's like breadcrumbs, seasoned breadcrumbs, and it gives you that in a bag. You put it in there and you shake the pork chop up in there. And I put it on foil in the oven and bake them. And they're delicious. Well, I'm saying delicious to someone who likes pork. They're edible for me, but other people say it's really good. And it keeps the moisture. The breadcrumbs keep the moisture. It keeps them from drying out. So if you're like me and you're looking for something new to make, if you haven't already tried that, it's really, it's a much better way. I used to brown them in a frying pan, and then I'd add things to cover up the flavor, the taste, the smell, and the taste of the meat. And now I don't have to do all that, so. Alright. You know, the other thing I wanted to do here is I wanted to wash this, but this soil is so, it's so attached to these roots, I don't know. What do you guys think? Send me your vibes. And remember, I'm looking for the ant problem, and I don't even know what I'm looking for. And my eyesight is not very good anymore either, so if I could probably be looking straight at it and not know that's what it was. But, you know, this soil is not, the soil still smells good. It's not, I don't know. What I don't want to happen is I don't want to end up putting this in brand new soil and thinking I got rid of the problem and find out down the road that I didn't, and that there's still an ant nest or ant eggs or wherever they come from. I don't know. I don't know. Well, I think that's going to have to do. The roots look pretty healthy. There's no ants crawling around, and I haven't seen any since yesterday, so maybe I caught it in time. I had another viewer that wrote me this morning, or it was yesterday or this morning, on that last video, and she said her daughter or her friend, someone, I think she said it was her daughter, had this problem, and it decimated her collection. And that really scared me because I had never heard of that. But I imagine, depending on what kind of ants they are, if you don't, get a hold of them, if you don't get control of the problem, I guess that could. Look at these roots. Isn't that something? Can you see that? They're red. I've never seen red roots. That's different. Alright. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, if there was something in there, don't you think it would have come out by now? Alright, I think that's good. Oh, my soil stash is getting low. I got a little bit left in my tub in the other room, but it's going to be time soon to do a run. And I do not want to go in any store right now, so I don't want to have to take a chance. I hope this isn't too big of a pot that I'm doing here. It almost seems like it, doesn't it, for the amount of... Oh, there's an ant. There's an ant. I caught one. Well, I am going to go and wash these roots off. And I don't want to leave you hanging here while I do that. So I'm going to just put you on pause. I apologize, but I just saw a live ant crawling up here. So yeah, we don't want to take a chance. So I'm going to go take care of these roots. And I don't know, I might even see if I got a smaller pot here, because I think this is actually going to be too big for these roots. So, okay, I'll be back shortly. Alrighty, I am back. That took a little bit longer than I was expecting, but it's alright. I did end up soaking all of these plants in my green bowl with water, and I got as much of the soil off as I could. If there is any kind of eggs or anything in the soil, I'm not seeing it, and I'm hoping I got it all. But I think I am going to quarantine these for a little while after I put them back together. I also separated these because these are actually two different plants. This is my orchid cactus, and this is, I believe it's not rickrack, I forget the name, but they're two different plants, and I had them all in one pot when I was rooting them, so I separated them right away. And I noticed I have a little baby on one of these coming up, so that was exciting. You can see that right there. So, okay, I'm going to have to step it up here, folks, because I got dinner in the oven and it's getting late. It's actually it's past our dinner time, but I wanted to finish this up today. So we're going to put some soil in here. I did completely wash these roots as well. So they're as clean as I could get them. And I'm just hoping that, I hope there's nothing left in there. Like I said, I've never dealt with this before, so I don't even really know what I'm looking for. You know, when you have spider mites, you can usually see the webbing, and when you have fungus gnats, they pretty much, you can't see them, but you know they're in there. And I mean, most of the different pests that we have today, we can pretty much tell. When you got your plant down to the roots, you can pretty much tell what's going on. But this is a whole new thing for me, so we'll have to learn together, unless there's an expert out there that wants to chime in and give us your opinion. We'd love to have it. And alright, I think that was going to be good in here. Put this one together. Ooh, I hope I'm not going to run out of soil here. I'm really excited to see the new shoot coming up. I've had these for so long and they haven't done anything. It took forever for me to root them. But they got a really good root system and a new leaf. And these are really neat looking when they grow up and the whole pot is full of them. It's a beautiful plant. So I'm anxious to see that. And this is going to do it for me tonight, folks. And if I do end up repotting something tomorrow, I will definitely give it my all and try and record it for you, but I can't make any promises, so we'll see how it goes. And one more. Got my pork chops in the oven and our baked potatoes and garbanzo beans are on the stove. I really like garbanzo peas. Some people call them chickpeas, I think. They're little brown round beans. And I just drain the water off of them and add a little butter and a little garlic powder in a pan and heat them up. Try to brown them just a little bit. Oh, they're delicious and they're so good for you. And by the way, I did not see any other ants other than that one before I took my little break here. That was all I saw. So hopefully we got it. Okay, my plant friends. This is it for tonight. I'm going to have to call it a day. Get some water in there so it stays where I put it. But they're back in their soil, so we'll be doing all right. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and until next time, I guess I don't know when that'll be. Could be tomorrow, could be next week, but so far, so good. So thank you all again for your kind words and your comments, and thanks for supporting me. And don't forget to hit a thumbs up if you like it, and if you haven't subscribed and you want to see more, you probably know what to do already. So, all right. So we will see you soon, or you will see me soon, hopefully. And until then, you all take care and stay safe. Bye now.